guys, it's your boy Nintendo, back again with another video. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the Nintendo DSi and if it's worth picking one up in 2023. Let's get the video started. So the Nintendo DSi, it is an upgrade to the Nintendo DS and the Nintendo DS Lite. Both consoles was basically Nintendo's latest handheld console during the time. Really, when this came out in 2008, it was announced in 2008 but came out in 2009. When the announcement came out for this thing, man, people were so hype about it. Because it's usually Nintendo. This is what Nintendo usually is good for. They usually like to release upgrades or something slightly cheaper than the original console that came out. So this is the upgrade to the Nintendo DS Lite. Very popular system. Nintendo just added more features to it. So the DSi, the main feature of the DSi is your cameras. You got your front-facing, back camera. When you open it up, you got your front-facing camera. Basically, like what most phones nowadays have. It has a front and back camera. DSi had that. I really don't recommend taking pictures with the cameras because these cameras are bad. They're not really that sharp. So I really don't recommend taking pictures with a DSi camera or any gaming system camera. So yes, this is basically just an upgrade to Nintendo DS Lite. So this is the Japanese model. Usually Nintendo region locks their systems. So if you pick up a Japanese model, you can only play Japanese games on it. But if you do jailbreak it, you can play region free games, even though this is from Japan originally. So that's your DSi. So let's get into the design of it. All right, the design. So as first things first, let's talk about this color. So this is the I believe this is kind of like a yellow. I think it's like a lime colorway. It's yellow in person, but in the camera it's picking up. It looks like it's green, but it's actually like a yellow, bright yellow in person. So the DSi, another great way that the DSi stands out from the other DS systems is its colors. Their colors are very vibrant. Unfortunately, this isn't one of the original colors that came out here in the US. This is a Japanese exclusive colorway. I will put some pictures on the screen to show you guys the colorways that were officially released in the US, which was very most common here. I know the baby blue one was the most popular colorway from the DSi lineup. That was my favorite too. But anyway, so this is the Japanese exclusive yellow colorway. So start from the front. Another way you can tell right off the bat that this is a DSi, again, you got your camera, and most of the colors has a matte finish, and missing in the middle is the DS logo. Usually on the DS Lite, you have the DS logo right here, the two screen logos right here, but the DSi is just clean and just have that camera. So you have your camera, your back camera, then you have your camera LED. When the camera's in use, it's like it turns on. So if someone wants to be a creep, and they're gonna try to take a picture of you or something, boom, you know that they're using the camera and this light comes on. Unfortunately, I guess due to technology back then or the specs of this doesn't record any video. It only takes pictures. I mean, like, who actually want to record anything on this anyway? So back here We have our LEDs right here. When you open it up, it tells you what they are, what they're symbolizing. So starting from the left, we have our Wi-Fi indicator LED, our AC adapter or charging LED, and we have a power button. The power button changes from blue, meaning that the system is on, to a red when the system battery is low. Going to the sides right here, we have our volume rocker. It is now a physical button. Before, on the DS and the DS Lite, it was a rocker. Most people dislike the volume rocker here because some say that it does fall off. I never actually had that happen, but hey. On the other side, we have our new addition is the SD card slot. The SD card slot is, is used to put your pictures, save pictures from taken from the camera, and to play music on it. This is a 4K Samsung. Now the main reason for this is because the console, not only that you can play music, store your pictures and stuff, but you can download DSi rare games. So basically, there's a shop called a DSi shop where you could download games other than playing games with the cartridges. So that's one thing, the DSi as well. It's a lot of connectivity with the DSi. I'm gonna get to that later. So that's your SD card slot. You have your stylus, always in the same place, and you can see it's yellow. It always matches the system. In the middle here, you got your. So this one. Get that to focus for you guys. Don't think I get that to focus for you guys, but yeah, I didn't get that to focus for you guys, but it says Nintendo right in the middle here. So I'm guessing if anyone, yeah, I can't get that to focus for you guys, but it says Nintendo in the middle right there. Look at the bottom. You can see here in the bottom, it's very clean. We have our headphone and accessory port right there. Now, straight off the bat, what's missing here is the Game Boy slot. If you guys don't know, the DS, it did the DS, original DS and DS Lite. They had they were backwards compatible with the Game Boy, so you can play Game Boy Colors and stuff like that. But since the DSi, Nintendo stripped that feature off, so this is only strictly for DSi and DS games. So if you do have a lot of physical Game Boy games, you can no longer play on your DSi. You're gonna have to stick with your original DS or DS Lite. On the top right here, we have our landlord. You put a little string or something in there, so you can put a little string to tie around your hands to keep the console from falling in your hands or something like that. You have your game card slot. You can see it's just slot 1. You have your AC adapter. They did change the port to a smaller proprietary port. On the original DS is pretty much the same as the Game Boy SP, and then on the DS Lite they changed it. And for the DSi, they changed it again. You'll see this charger port again on the Nintendo 3DS. And then we have here our L and R buttons with camera controls on them. I do know that these buttons usually, the buttons on on the DS Lite and these, it usually stops working. I don't know why, but sometimes you have to press it really hard. I really don't know why it does that, but mine didn't do that yet, so I'm hoping it doesn't. Okay, on the back right here, we have again Nintendo DSi. This is the Japanese model. You can see here's your model number. Then you have your 2008 Nintendo. Serial number right here. So again, the DSi came out in Japan first. So this came out in 2008, and then in the US it came out in 2009. You have a battery compartment drawer. One good thing about these older handhelds is, you can replace the battery. So if the battery goes bad, or if you're on the go and you're playing a lot and your main battery dies, you can just open this door, swap it out, and continue playing. Alright, so let's open it up. We have our two LCD screens. We have our two stereo speakers, our mic in the middle right there next to the front camera. All the controls. This is a touchscreen, by the way, if you guys don't know. DS's, the bottom screen is always touchscreen. So let's go over the controls. We have our power button. We have our D-pad. We have our start and select, and we have our A, B, Y, and X buttons. They are very clicky, same with the control pad. I'm not really a fan of clicky buttons. I know Nintendo consoles nowadays, they always make the buttons clicky compared to older consoles. I don't know why, but to me, I don't really like the clicky buttons, but it is what it is. So holding the DSi in my hand is how it is. It does feel all right. The edges are rounded, so it's not too sharp, to give your palm of your hands a little discomfort. So it is comfortable holding in my hands like this because the edges are rounded, not too big, not too small. Yeah, so that's the design. I think this is well designed. Same as the DS Lite, original DS, just more sleeker and in a model, in a most modern way. So that's your DSi design. Let's move on to the next segment. All right, so now we're going to talk about the specs. So the DSi has some improvements in the specs department. So starting with the display. It's the same traditional LCD screen. The screens on the DSi are a little bit larger than the DS and the DS Lite, but they still share the same screen resolution, which is, I believe it is I think it's like a 256 by 182 or 192 screen resolution. It's around those two numbers. Yeah, the screen's a little bit bigger, but same resolution. The CPU, you got improvement in the CPU department. The DSi now has two CPUs, an ARM7 and an ARM9. So the ARM9 is a bit more faster than the previous DS Lite, and because of this new upgraded processor, it powers up the cameras and stuff like that, and you can run DSi Enhanced Games. I believe one of the Pokemon games for the DS, you can only play it on the DSi due to its CPU upgrade and RAM. The RAM has also been quadrupled on the DSi. The RAM is 4 times the original DS Lite and DS, so we have about 16 megabytes of RAM. Need that RAM for its internet browser. The DSi, you can go on the web right from the box. With the DS and DS Lite, you had to buy that separately. You had to buy the card, and you had to buy the memory expansion, which fits on the bottom of that Game Boy port. But the DSi, however, since it has the RAM built in, doubled RAM, and you can just use it in and around the box. So again, we have 2 cameras. The cameras, like I said, are bad. So these are 0.3 megapixels. It's really bad. The camera is just mainly used for games, but when this came out, people and kids were, taking pictures with this thing. The pictures on it is really, really bad. I'll show you guys. So, now the main thing with this is you can edit the pictures and stuff. Like you can play around and just see what's on here. I don't want to show you guys on the screen in case I took a bad picture or something. Okay, that's weird. It just rebooted. Whoa. Okay. All right. So anyway, yeah, this console is jailbroken. I'm gonna get to that in a minute. I just want to show you guys the camera. I don't know what that error screen was, but that's the first time I've ever seen that on this thing. So you're just gonna see the pictures. So the camera actually. So you can see it in the bottom of the screen. It's the camera. What is it? No, that's the front camera. My fault. So right now you can see my phone right there is recording. And I believe the switch is this. It's in Japanese, so you don't really, if you're Japanese, it's easy for you, but you can't even change it. So taking pictures on things is really bad. It's not clear. There's no autofocus or anything like that. And again, you can't even record. You can't record anything on it because it doesn't really has the capabilities to record video. So the camera is bad. So I really don't suggest taking any pictures with this thing. So the battery life on this is pretty good. Nintendo did say, depending on the software, it can last up to 16 hours, which is pretty long. And again, if the battery does die, you can also unscrew these two and open the battery compartment door, and you can just replace or swap out the battery. Now, if you plan on having this long term, sometimes, well, not sometimes, most batteries, they degrade over time after you keep recharging them, using them, recharging them. So eventually you're gonna have to replace the battery. So it's easy for you to do. You can just buy the battery online, pop it back in here, and boom, you're set and ready to go. So I believe that's everything I talked about in the specs department. So we're gonna talk about the menu and the jailbroken stuff in the next segment. Okay, so because this is a Japanese DSi, most of the DSi menus and stuff are Japanese only, and you cannot play US games on the Japanese handheld console. So one way to actually bypass this is by jailbreaking the DSi and installing Twilight menu. So this is the Twilight menu. It looks pretty much like the DSi menu, but now with this Twilight menu, you can run homebrew and DS games. You can see here I have all these DS games right here. So we got Super Mario 64 DS, pretty good game. Mario Kart DS, Kingdom Hearts Recoded, Castle Magic, really good game. Sonic Rush, Mario Bros, Diddy Kong Racing, Gangster 2, pretty good game. Kingdom Hearts again, Kirby, Chrono, and just much more. So one of the easiest ways, I have three games here that are enhanced for the DSi. I know that usually when the icons move around, that game is DSi enhanced only, so you cannot play this on a DS Lite. But if the pictures don't move, the icon, you see like these three right here, they're moving. And I believe Castle Magic, Gangster moves, Castle, so those games, when they move around, they it just means that this is a DSi enhanced game, and it will use the DSi's enhanced processor and RAM to give it a boost. So if you're gonna buy a Japanese DSi, just be sure to jailbreak it, because you're not gonna go very far with the original operating system, especially if it's in Japanese. So you want to just jailbreak it, run it on the EMU NAND, and boom, you have your DS region free. So the purpose of owning a DSi in 2023 is, if you just miss having one, or if you never had the chance to own a DSi. Again, DSi, they usually run cheap. I'll get that in the next segment. But you can see here, this is NDS Bootstrap. You can see it Run Dsi game right there. So it's just 164 DS. Pretty sure you guys remember this game. This is a launch title for the DSi. So yeah, so you can play most DS games. You can play Game Boy games. Remember, only on the jailbroken system you can play Game Boy games, because there's no slot. You can install an application to emulate Game Boy, Sega Dreamcast, Genesis, most standard emulator stuff. So it's pretty much worth of picking one up in 2023. Playing games on the go. If you're on a road trip or something, you're in the airplane, on your main console like the Nintendo Switch, Steam Deck batteries ran out, you can pull out this and just play a couple of classics. So, gonna move on to the next segment here. Okay, the cost. So the cost of a DSi nowadays are relatively cheap. It is more cheaper if you pick up a Japanese model. Now the main reason why Japanese models usually go cheaper is because of them being region locked. But if you jailbreak them, you can change that. So I actually paid $40 for mine, and mine's is in pretty good condition. When I got it, I don't know if they did a show reswap or what, but it looks pretty new. And this is not like a fake case. This is official. But yeah, everything, it looks really it looks like it was in mint condition when I got it. It is a little bit dirty. You guys can kind of see in the camera, but it's a little bit dirty, right here. I'm not sure. Yeah, you guys can't really see in the camera, but it looks a little discolored. But everything is pretty much in good condition. When I got this in the mail, I was like, wow, this looks amazing. Especially for the price I paid. I asked the seller if it's any, because he was selling it for low. I was going through other prices, and they were selling it for pretty much for around $68. And I saw him, he was selling his for $40, and I was asking him, are there any problems with it? And he was like, no, there's no problems. It's jailbroken and stuff like that. So, okay. He even included 2 screen protectors for the top and bottom screen. Yeah, this thing came in pretty good condition when I bought it. The hinge, it's not loose or anything. You can see it's not wobbly or anything like that. It's in pretty good condition. So yeah, so you can get this for around $40, $50, $60. Lowest is $40. Like I said, I paid $40 for mine. Pretty great steal. Did not as much as the 3DS and 2DS consoles. Those are really inflated right now because they're discontinued. But this is discontinued as well. I don't know why it's not as jumping prices as 3DS and stuff. But hey, it is what it is. Just give it a year or two the 3DS prices will go down for people who wants to own one or miss having one. All right, so that's it for this segment. Let's move on to the next. When it comes to the DSi, I think it was one of Nintendo's greatest handheld systems of all time. When they announced the DSi, people, including myself, were so excited of seeing a new model to the DS family line. It was a little bit more expensive than the DS, but the features did kind of counteract that. Playing the DSi in 2023, I won't say it's a must-have, but it is something to pass time on and to experience what the DSi was back then. Again, if you're buying a DSi, you want to just want to main thing what you want to do with it is you want to jailbreak it. Yeah, so buying one in 2023 again, if you want to experience it, you're bored, or you just want to collect it, put it in your game collection. Either way, whatever your reasons are, definitely pick up a DSi in 2023. So that's it for this week's video, guys. Thanks again for watching this morning's video, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye for now, guys.